And it is the start of Season 8 here for the Blazer Sim Racing Grid Network Truck Series. I cannot believe that it's already time for the start of the 8th season, but here we are. And that's right, it is the Grid Network Truck Series, new entitlement sponsor. No longer the Amsoil Truck Series. But it's the same series that you've known and loved that we've had here on Saturday nights for the past however many years it has been now. I'm Joshua Carpenter. I'm joined by Olivia Hayward. Olivia, you return to commentate this series once again. We loved having you last season. We are super glad you are back for another season. So welcome, and how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I mean, there's been all sorts of fantastic motorsport on today. I've basically spent all day sat down watching all of it, and why not kick it off with some really good stock car racing on a plate track? It's actually the first time I've ever actually commentated a stock car plate race, which seems wild considering all of the other disciplines that I've led my voice to. But it's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a very strategic race, I feel like, especially with the removal of the stage breaks. We're going to have a sprint to some points at lap 25, but it is not going to stop the race, and you can play those strategies out over the course of the entire event if the race happens to go green.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that is one of the big topics I want to talk about tonight, and that was, just the not having caution come out at the stage break. This is the season opener, and it is at Daytona. I think there's going to be a caution around that stage because drivers are going to be wanting to still get every little bit of points, every little point they possibly can to start their season off on the right foot. And so I think that it is going to just immediately cause chaos to where we are going to see a caution right about that lap 25 mark.
It's always likely, it's always possible, and it definitely has to play into your race strategy, because of course the one trick you would get, I believe, is all that you've got here. No fast pairs in play for the plate races here, as with the rest of the series. And it means that you've got to really be patient. It's 100 laps, 250 miles, and getting your truck to the end and in, full working condition to push for a win in the final laps is not easy. You've really got to choose your battles here and work out which moment it's worth going for those positions and when maybe it's time to step back and let some other people lead the way for a while.
Right now we're watching Michael Walls as just the first lap of some qualifying is being completed. Currently Zach Probst and make that Tristan Maher top of the board. Shane O'Neill now is it's just going to continue to go around and around like a Russian, not a Russian, wow, like a roulette wheel. Already starting off right, or bad up here, but anyway, Shane O'Neill, top of the board, 51.563. We continue to watch Michael Walls. He comes off turn number 4 onto the front straightaway. Walls was the first one out, and the first one to complete 2 laps. Goes from 15th to P1, 51.429, but we're going to watch this continuously change. Season 7 champion Tristan Maher now crossing the line. P1, Tristan Maher, 3 thousandths of a second over Probst, but it is Alex Kerfan now top of the board.
And it is impressive to see some of these drives in. There was a top 2 from last season's championship over at Chicagoland, and they're already putting a strong performance in and wanting to lead from the front here to keep yourself out of trouble. But now, as the lap times come in, lap 2 seemingly giving some people some real improvements. It's now Donald Stern, a new face in the AMSO Truck Series, the Grid Network Truck Series, I should say. That's one for the swear jar. Who takes the top position in qualifying right now. So this is always an interesting thing about starting off a season at a track like Daytona. You've got a lot of existing, team make partnerships and friendships in the grid, but you've got some new faces that you've really got to feel out. And in a situation as high pressure and high stakes as the Daytona season opener, you've really got to work that out quickly. And first impressions do matter in races like this.
Rivers Jones completes his first lap, currently 28th. As we have just 20 seconds left here in qualifying. It's going to be real close. I don't think Jones is going to be able to complete that second lap. Timer is almost out. Rivers Jones only in turn 3, so it's going to be a backpack starting position for Rivers Jones. And that does it. Checkered flag. Our lineup is set. Trucks are going to be getting on the grid as we are getting ready for 100 laps around the Daytona International Speedway for the season opener. Let's go ahead and take a look at our starting lineup here tonight, and it is Donald Stern on the pole with Gabe Cazola starting to his outside in second. Third place, it is Alex Kerfan, Justin Rott, P4. Fifth, Levi Poland and William Kempf will start 6th. 7th place, Travis Van Oostendorp and Justin Durand in 8th. 9th, Jacob Locklear. And 10th place, it is Michael Kruger in a new truck number this season.
Aaron Vandruska lines up in P11 alongside veteran Cody McCorkle. And then champions Tristan Maher lines up on row number 7 to start off season number 8, with Zach Probst on his outside. Noah Loveridge and Randy Payne line up 15th and 16th, with Cameron Caldwell, Ryan Bodie, Alonso Chicano, and Michael Walls, some veterans of the field, round 90 top 20.
Philip Scott starts 21st. Nick Donati in 22nd. 23rd, it is Fidel Fabian. And Shane O'Neill starts 24th. 25th, it is Adam Kuhn. 26th, Bailey Thompson. 27th, Zachary Wareham. Rivers Jones starts 28th. Dakota Knoll, 29th. And Paul Satmary will start in 30th.
And then behind the 4 trucks that didn't really get full qualifying laps, you got Troy Sand, David Durand, Dustin Four, and Stephen Thornton that round out a 34 truck field to open up season 8. They have shown out in force today, and that always makes for fantastic racing here at the World Center of Racing.
It is anybody's race. Anybody can win it if you are in it, and you are still racing on the last lap. You've got a chance. So, with that being said, no pressure, but Olivia, who is your pick to win?
I mean, you're saying it's like a roulette. There's nearly 36 spaces to roll with. I am going to say that William Kemp has a good shot at this. I don't know why. I just really like it.
Not a bad pick. Oof, man. Who do I want? I am going to... You know what? I'm going with Ryan Bogey. I think Bogey has an opportunity just as good as anybody else to win here tonight. Bogey's hungry. I know that. Watch for that 21 machine to be competing for the race win. Sun is setting. Pretty close to it. It's getting dark. Track light's going to be on momentarily. Looks like a cool track temperature, 75 degrees Fahrenheit, with wind blowing at 12 miles an hour, with a headwind down the back straightaway, actually. So they're going to be fighting into the wind, driving down the back straightaway. Stage is at lap 25. We mentioned no stage caution. 100 laps, couple pit stops that they've got to do. And it should be an exciting race here tonight to get Season 8 underway here in the RPS Marketing 250. Pace truck is in. Donald Stern, your pole sitter. He's inside the restart zone. Green flag is out. We're underway here in Season 8. Already some movement going on. See Kruger filling a hole in the bottom.
It's always towards the end of this first lap and onto lap number 2 where the pack really compresses from how it spreads out on the initial start. Everyone gets up to speed and gets back to the bumper of the truck ahead, and if people are feeling a little overeager, that is where problems could start early here, especially as you get into the tri-oval. You mentioned the headwind down the backstretch. That means there's a tailwind coming through the tri-oval. It can already be a little bit sketchy sometimes, dependent on if you've got a truck lifting up those rear wheels.
And it's the front stretch course, it is curved. It's a tri-oval. So, I mean, yeah, you got the wind pushing you along and you're trying to just go through a curve. It can make it difficult. Gabe Cazola, he is fast on that outside line. Gabe Cazola wants to lead this thing.
And when do you think the first 3 wide is going to come out of this one? Currently lined up 2x2 all the way back here. But it's a tricky track if you want to try and build that third lane. It's not as wide as a place like Talladega as we start lap number 3.
Oh, we got trouble in the back. I think that was the 24. David Arand going around. It is Dakota Knoll involved. Jacob Locklear coming to a stop, as well as Shane O'Neill. I'm not so sure if they were involved in that. Great job braking. But we are under caution for the first time already. Take a look to see what happened on the JCTV replay. Just a push gone wrong. Adam Kuhn also involved. I couldn't tell who that was. This is the 97 of Satmary that got into the back of David Arand, which caused this.
And it's one of those awkward spots where the checkup happens 5-6 trucks further up the road, and then Durand hits the brakes, loses about 10 miles an hour coming across the start-finish line, and like I said, Paul just didn't quite have the visibility to make that work. It seems like not too much damage for the trucks involved. A rear bumper needs reattaching on that Hershey's machine. But this is what we're talking about. If you are a series debutant and you are part of a lap 3 caution, even if it wasn't necessarily your fault, these trucks don't always know. That's a great avoidance there. Who was that ducked to the apron there to get around?
That was the 93 Nick Donati.
There we go, another fresh face in the Grid Network Truck Series, doing a great job to not get added as another into the tally of involved trucks. We are pacing now behind the truck, and now it's a question of, does anyone come in for a little bit of a top-off? We were thinking it would be 32 to 36 laps on fuel, depending on how aggressive people want to be. I think if you're at the front, you of course keep the track position, but what's the first truck that's going to decide they want to take that additional couple of gallons and work their way back through the field? Ryan Bodie is going to peel off, and Tony McCorkle will dart ahead from P12, and that usually draws the rest of the field down, and most of them will follow in. So a majority of the trucks deciding to take that splash and dash, maybe a couple going for new tyres if they spun them out a little bit there. But the top half is going to be on a slightly shorter fuel tank here, and just going to have to pit a little bit early, not long after the end of stage number 1.
Yeah, I like this call. One, I think just kind of staying in the back, letting the chaos erupt early is what some of these guys are thinking of, and the reason why they might have come down pit road. Honestly, I think if I were in this race, I really don't care about the fuel part of it. Just get me to the back where I feel safer. And I think that's kind of what some of these guys were doing. The fuel is just an added bonus. It's not much. It's not much of a difference, but you mentioned it still can get them to go a few laps further later on if we stay green.
And not to mention, make that net stop a little bit shorter. And that final stop, if it comes down to it. If you're just taking fuel only, which could be a potential option with how cold the track's going to be here, then you're only limited by how much fuel you put in. If you can just make it to 1 can on the refuel, then you'll be off and away, and you won't get dropped from the pack that otherwise you might be struggling to hang on to.
So drivers are going to start lining up 2 by 2 here very shortly, I assume. But they're going to be getting the 1 green, and the choose cone rule is still in effect. So drivers will be able to choose where they restart, whether it's the inside or the outside. Just cannot hit the middle. And Stern going with the bottom, Cazzola top, Rott bottom, Kerfan top, Kempf top. And you just see them kind of going back and forth. I saw somebody hit the middle.
And what do you pick here if you're in a truck? Do you have a preference on which line, or are you just taking whichever one's shortest?
In this situation here, I mentioned if I was in the truck, I would definitely want to, come down pit road that time by. So now I'm in the back, and I want to stay back there. So I'm actually going with, I'm going to go with the bottom, just because I feel like even if the bottom is shortest, you're going to have longer line on the top. I still feel like the bottom is a little bit safer here, and I can easily get myself more towards the back by being on the bottom, because I can pull down onto that apron if I want to down the back straightaway. So personally, I'm taking bottom here in this situation.
Yeah, and not to mention, if there's a wreck out turn 2, then you've got a massive patch of flat asphalt to work with to avoid it. And even in the corners, you can hit the brakes and get down to that apron, and as long as you don't slide back up and spin up the racetrack, it can be a very easy way to avoid the wreck that's happening ahead as it drifts up towards the wall. And if you're playing survival, that is exactly how you're thinking about this early running. You're not really shuffling for position. Maybe a little bit on about lap 20 if you think you can get into the top 10 for the end of the stage, but after that point, you're settling into a groove and just trying to position yourself to be in the lead pack coming out of that final pit stop or coming out of that final caution as the pace truck pulls off, and it will be Donald Stern in control of the field as we go back to green once again.
It's actually a great restart by Stern and Rott. Cazzola and Kerfan able to jump down into the hole that was made with Stern and Rott going so early.
And it makes me wonder if that was coordinated, because if you're in control, you can very much jump early, too early, and leave yourself as a sitting duck ahead. The fact that another truck was able to follow and get organized in a line behind, I think they may have pulled that one out, maybe, and made sure that they were the ones controlling this inside line, as that's Justin Durand trying to make the outside line work. Got 4 trucks from the lead of the race right now.
Justin Durand, I believe that's the 09 of William Kempf, actually. And Cazzola's going to move up to the top line, block Durand. Cazzola wants to control this race.
And it's all about who the front 2 in these packs are, so it is going to be Stern and Raw on the low side, Cazzola and Durand on the high side. And it's about how good these pushes are early and how safe they are. You can ramp up the aggression towards the end, but right now you're looking for square hits, straightaways only, back off in the corners and just build the run to reconnect on exit. The trucks behind help you to keep connected, but they're not doing any bumping themselves, because that is far too risky for this point in the race.
Yeah, still early. I mean, there is no need to push hard right now, as we are only 8 laps completed of this 100-lap race. Still 92 to go. See Justin Rand trying to push Cazzola down this back straightaway. Cazzola's just going to edge ahead. That bottom line is just so powerful through the corners, though. I mean, Justin Rott almost was able to get clear of Cazzola. And he does! Justin Rott's going to move to the top side.
And they've got a bid run now. He can move back low if he wants to and take that low side with the race lead. He can't quite win Cazzola just yet, but is not far away from it. But that low line does prevail, a shorter run through the corners. And now they're in lockstep once again down the backstretch.
Zola pushing Rott. Stern still leading. It's Kerfan on the back of Stern now. You look for Poland. Third truck on the bottom line. Right now, I think this is kind of organized chaos. I don't see a ton of side drafting, if any, going on right now. There are some pushes happening, which is expected, but honestly, as Justin Rott is about to take the lead, I think this is kind of calm, if you will.
Yeah, and again, it's about you don't want to become the early villain of the campaign. You want to make sure that you are starting on the best foot you can, because it's going to be a long night. It's going to be a race of, an hour and a half if we stay green, and with cautions that we've already seen potentially a little bit more than that. It is definitely one that you need to pace yourself and save that mental energy like nothing else. If you're in the ultimate stress from lap number 1, you are going to make a mistake.
Justin Rott.
A little uncertain there from Raw. He gets disconnected from Cazzola.
Yeah, Raw goes to the bottom now. Cazzola will be leading that high line. So what does Rott do?
Well, I mean, there's only one thing you can do in this situation. You can put him to the floor and keep your eyes as focused far forward as possible. Then you can. That's the way to keep the truck steady when you're leading one of these packs. You do not want to be looking in the mirror and trying to adjust to the truck behind, because that's like in a tight corridor. You'll end up just bouncing off each other. Zola does seem like the stronger party here. Durand is giving a great push into turn number 3. We are at the halfway point of this opening stage now. So, we're starting to get to that phase where people are going to be starting to practice runs here. Work out how much they can get, as we've got some slow trucks in the back of the field, actually. A big checkup, but it looks like we've stayed green. But that is Shane O'Neill, who is spun around, and Dakota Knoll also very much detached from the pack. And a really unfortunate instant there at the tail end of the field here.
So we'll take a look at the replay. Oh! Looks like Nick Donati got into Probst. But there was definitely a checkup going on for that to happen.
And that's the risk you take being at the tail end of the field in such a long line. Those checkups just get stronger and stronger, and if the truck behind isn't paying attention, or if you're not paying attention, then suddenly you have no draft at all. It looks like no significant damage, as they are going to have to keep limping it around, but there won't be a stage break to bail them out of here, so they've got to hope that guys up front race a little bit too hard and win out caution.
Yeah, and that's the difference. You know, if you were in a situation like that, well, say, okay, well, right now we've got 11 laps until the stage caution comes out. I can just ride around as long as I don't go lap down, I'm fine. But as you mentioned, as we've talked about, there's no stage caution. So now you need something to happen. You don't have that guaranteed break.
And that 3-wide move has not come yet. Very much a double file affair right now. And so that means that the cautions will be a bit less likely, because there's going to be less proximity for netcode, and while the lines are going to be longer, they have been thinned out a bit, and they are letting themselves have that breathing room to absorb those concertinas and keep the field running in a straight line.
I think give it about 7 laps. I think it's going to start picking up.
I mean, yeah, but for some of these trucks, they don't have 7 laps. You are a good 4 or 5 seconds slower in a solo run compared to the train that's, you know, getting towards 200 miles an hour. And some of these are going to get caught before we hit that 55, where the wheel shuffles to begin up here. So maybe line up a dot potentially, but it's not if you want to be in it.
Still, I mean, pretty calm. But back to your point, I mean, you're right. You know, if you're in the back of the pack, you can't wait too long. I mean, my plans are still the same. They've not changed. Just keep riding in the back. If there's a wreck in front of us, there's a wreck in front of us. Avoid it at all costs, and maybe we'll get lucky enough to be in a situation where we get stage points. If not, just protect the truck.
And that, you know, there's always an argument to be made that putting yourself in a bad spot for stage points, especially in the case where you're maybe flipping a strategy to give up stage points for a later run, it can really bite you if you get wrecked out late in a race, because that is sort of banking some early points based on how well you've done in that opening quarter. And sometimes you can have a bad day in the final tally, but end up with some decent results just because you were leading in the early stages. And so you don't want to leave it too late, especially because a win doesn't guarantee you a spot in the playoffs here. It gives you a very good shot at it with the wildcard system, but it's no guarantee.
Yeah, the point system is different than what we're used to seeing in the real life world.
And I say good in terms of that, to be honest.
Yeah. I like it.
Maybe I'm just too European for it.
Well,
I like the hybrid we have here because it does put the emphasis on making those big moves for the big results, going for those race wins. But it's not defined of a seed. You still have to perform throughout the calendar, and especially with the clean racing bonuses, but also the fact that the points full-time do match, as we are doing 3 wide a little bit in the back here. And there's back into the wall.
Bogey, maybe? Who was that?
That was I'm not quite sure. Oh, that was
It was Ryan Bogey.
Oh, he stuck out against the wall now. That was a packet loss situation, I think.
Yeah.
Because the way he bounced off that truck is not how normal physics would apply. That's a situation where there's some sort of hardware issue on the 21's machine, and fortunately it's not resulted in an issue for anyone else, but it is going to knock him out of contention and down to the pit lane real early. Shane O'Neill, who was caught up in that early incident, also down on pit lane after making an early stop, actually sliding into the pit lane. So it could be another truck race done here. And Thornton is very close to getting lapped by our race leaders now. So how do they navigate this? Does he pull high, low? And they are too wide behind.
I think Thornton might just stay low here. He is going to stay low. So the field is going to be forced to move up just a little bit. They are able to do so.
There's an 8-point available on the front stretch. It's a bit kinder on the back stretch if you want to pull out the lane. But it's better than trying to use that in the corners. We are 3 wide behind though, and there's a wrecker further in front. And that is a big stack up on the high side. And about half a dozen trucks looking in the wrong direction here, as that, I think, is going to end our opening stage a little bit early.
And we missed literally every bit of that on the live feed. So, let's take a look. I see a push gone wrong. And still missed it.
It starts with Loveridge and Payne in that high side, like 5th or 6th in line. There's a little bit of a stack, a little bit of a misalignment, and then a bad bump that nearly sends a car going up and over.
Who was that? Was that Levi Poland? Yeah. Michael Kruger involved. Stephen Thornton, who had just gone a lap down.
And ultimately, going low is maybe a little bit riskier of a play for lead lap cars. If you're consistent with what line you're picking, it's not too difficult to manage, but every once in a while it will cause a little bit of chaos, and sometimes you get lucky out of it, but sometimes you will end up being the one caught up as well. Looks like no trucks being shown a required repair for that one, but a good number that are beaten up and looking down to pit lane for some repairs. I think at this point, everyone's going to come in to fill up that fuel tank. Maybe a set of tyres as well, depends how much they've been worn so far.
Yeah, I think some drivers... Well, I think I would take 4 here. It's under caution. Tires really don't matter too much. If you were one of those involved in that caution, the reason we are under caution right now,
sure.
Sliding. Oh yeah, tires for sure. But I don't know.
I think the play is probably to take the tires here, but take a good note of what the tires were like coming off the truck. And if the percentages were well into the 90s, then maybe next time, especially in a green flag situation, where maybe you're not taking full fuel, go for 2, or maybe just take gas and go.
Justin Rand winning the race off pit road. An 11.3 second pit stop compared to Gabe Cazola's 12.2.
And those seem like 2 tire stops. I don't think you can get all 4 on in that time in iRacing. It seems like maybe Justin Roth the first truck to take all 4. But, I mean, the inside tyres are going to be even less of a concern than the outside tyres at a track like this. So, for the track position, for getting out of the danger zone, really, It's not a bad call. You want to either be at the front or the back. The middle is the place that can very easily end in disaster. Everyone from 15th back sat in pit lane for a good chunk of time, taking some level of repair. I'm sure a few of those just incidental contacts, but for a driver like Levi Poland, who is actually just getting rolling door, is still sat on pit lane and close to a lap down here. That near flip is not going to be friendly, and it is really going to hurt your performance. If not staying in the draft, it's going to really stop you from leading the line and make some work happen if you start to fall off the tail end of the lead pack.
So a lot of drivers that were still sitting in pit road have rolled off. It looks like Poland is still sitting in pit road. Drivers coming back down pit road, maybe top off on some fuel. Well, just one so far, Michael Walls. Everybody else so far is staying out. But the lights on the pace truck are off, so we are 2 by 2 once again. Justin Rand, the race leader. Gabe Cazzola will restart second. William Kempf and Alex Kerfan make up row 2. And it's Stern and Rott, row 3. Van Oostendorp and Thompson make up row 4. And Chicano and McCorkle, row 5. 75 laps to go, 74 when they take the green. The stage, of course, was over as a result of that caution. So Gabe Cazzola, your stage winner here, as he was leading. So now I think that the plan is really for a lot of these guys to just ride. Now there's no more stages. It's just straight racing to the end. You know, we have a chance for a caution or two, depending on accidents. But otherwise, no more guaranteed, well, no guaranteed yellows whatsoever. But no more points on the line at any point in this race except at that lap 100 mark. So I think things are going to calm out here for the time being. We'll see, though. That pace truck is in. Justin Rand inside the restart zone. The green flag is waving. We're back underway here at Daytona. Gabe Cazzola quickly getting down low into the bottom line. How about Alex Kerfan and Justin Rott making some hay on that outside line with help from Stern?
I'm not sure if anyone is going to be thinking about this, especially with how long we have to the end, but there's meant to be 2 more stops to the end from here. We've got more than 70 laps still left to go. But depending on how much fuel you can save in this pack, you might be checking the number to see if you can cut out that second stop. It very much depends what the leaders do, I think, and the pace that we're pushing right now. It seems awfully unlikely, but you've really got to stay on top of these things if you want to try and make one of those miracle fuel mileage wins work, because the later you clock onto what's going on, so the more chance of it is someone else has already worked out and is already ahead of you on that strategy. I don't think we're in that window here, but if we get another caution soon, then that is going to really open up the door for some of those opportunities. Well, of course, get one right around lap 60 or 65.
I'll tell you what, I've been a part of some of these fuel mileage races where drivers are just saving so hard to get as much fuel to eliminate a stop like you're talking about. And the pace, it's just so slow. I mean, even the leader running 75% throttle. I don't really think that's the case right now. These drivers, they're still... I mean, Justin ran 190 going into turn 3 here. It's 187 currently as things stand. So, they're not saving. These guys, they're going for it. And I'm kind of glad because it might be awfully boring if we're just watching these guys do a 75% throttle here.
It's a long way to go to have that sort of race. And the thing is, if you're the leader, then you are immediately on the back foot in terms of making that number because you don't have someone punching a hole in the air for you. You're the one who has to do the most work in the line. And so your two options in a situation like, or a situation similar to this, I should say, is to either drop back into the pack and put yourself in the danger zone, and if there's a caution, it's all for nothing. Or you stay full throttle, get people behind you to really push the pace of the field, and then make sure that no one else can try and hang on and take advantage. We are definitely heading for 2 more stops in this one, and I say that I'm glad about that because nice and early in the season we want to see some drivers really getting a feel for the drivers around them and not just sitting in single file. It is Justin Rourke currently leading the way on the high side, though Alex Kerfin gets to run back through turn number 1. And yeah, that pace between 180 and 190, that is what we'd expect from a full push run in these trucks. And here comes Gabe Zola. Doesn't want to sit on the inside line, going to try and be a leader on the outside once again.
Gabe Zola moving to the top in front of his teammate, Justin Ross. So you got teammates on the bottom, teammates on the top. Justin Ross pushing Cazzola pretty hard there.
And that's the thing about having a teammate behind you. You have that trust of knowing that you can give them a little bit more than you would sort of a random truck from the pack because you know if they're going to be able to hold it or not. And similarly, you're going to feel more confident with someone giving you those heavy shots from behind because you know that it's a pair of safe hands. There's benefit in having those teammates, and if you are an independent driver and you face her, then you kind of have to prove your worth over the course of a run. Here comes Jacob Locklear and Rivers Jones trying to make the high side work. It's not really going to work out, but if you want to try and make some friends here, you want to try and join those lines and make sure you are pinpoint perfect, because that's what is the difference between having people sit behind you and work with you at the end, or try and dump you out of the line and go for themselves.
Couple Mobile 1 schemes working together on that outside line you mentioned. Someone else jumping up to the top line.
There's no leverage.
How about Alonso Chicano? Tristan Maher doing that. They're up towards the front.
Line split here, yeah.
Alonso Chicano,
Back in line.
Yeah, he gets back in line very quickly. They're looking like they want to keep trying it, and Chicano does. Chicano with Tristan Maher moved back up to the top line, but just not able to get to that right rear of Bailey Thompson.
Yeah, Alonso's picking high and low here, looking for an opening around Bailey. Nothing really off it yet. There's a big move there from Justin.
Oh, they're wrecking to the back.
Front of the field. Decisive, but there's a wreck in the back here. And the caution flag is out for the 3rd time tonight.
I think that was my buddy Michael Kruger that I saw sideways. Could not tell the number, but indeed it was. Looks like a stack up on the bottom. Oof.
Yeah, Zach Probst in the 62 getting ejected from that low side, and unfortunately finding a collision course with Kruger. And a very slow slide out of that one. Again, no heavy damage from that, but those aerodynamics are everything in these trucks in a plate context, and if you get the call that we can only repair some of that damage, that knocks your confidence for the rest of the race, really.
Yeah, and at that point, it's just, try to survive. You're not out of it by any means if you could just stay in the pack, but chance of winning gets harder and harder.
Yeah, it's hard to stay in the pack. We got another checkup as we get back to the pace car. Nearly another incident in turn 4 here. We get away with that. It's hard to stay in the pack, and it's also then harder to really make those moves at the end of the race. You kind of have to hope that there's a little bit of carnage ahead. And now there's another exodus to the pit lane, because what was a 2-stop race is going to become a 1-stop quite comfortably. We won't see that fuel saving to much extent, because I think it should be pretty comfortable. But the question could be, how short can you make that last stop, and can it put you in a position to try and win this thing?
Rod's going to win the race off pit road with Sola and Stern behind. Looks like Thompson, Justin Rand, William Kempf, Alex Kerfan, Alonso Chicano, Tristan Maher, and Cuddy McCorkle, the top 10.
And a lot of fuel-only stops there. Not many take in tyres, so that suggests that they saw the wear from that first set once Crew got it off and realised this isn't a concern. We can hold on to this for another 70 laps, and it is going to save you that time. And every tenth matters in a pit cycle here. That is really the most critical part of the race till you get to lap 100.
So we are currently at 65 laps to go. Still plenty of racing. So we will see 63 to go when we restart this race. Some drivers still down pit road. That include Van Oostendorp, Probst, Caldwell, Satmary. As they are still getting some damage fixed. Ryan Bogey, Shane O'Neill, and Adam Kuhn are out of this race.
And confirmation from Bogey, it was a wheel failure in that number 21 truck. Fortunate that it didn't involve anyone else in that, but again, not the start to the season that the Wood Brothers team would have wanted there.
No, not at all. This is a track that you really can set your season up. And you want to start off doing well too. And the field is taken 2x2, but let's go ahead and take a look at the schedule really quick. And we do have Kentucky next week, Gateway, July 12th, Nashville Super Speedway, followed by the first road course at Portland. We've got Eldora, the first dirt race on the schedule. Michigan is back. Always excited for that one. Richmond, Kansas, Indianapolis, Chicago Street Course, North Wilkesboro. And the Talladega Double is back. 2 Talladega races, 40 laps each. Before we head into the playoffs, we have got Homestead, New Hampshire, Chicagoland, Charlotte, Martinsville Auto Club, and the Old Atlanta for the championship race, November 22nd. And that is how Season 8 Blazer Sim Racing Grid Network Truck Series schedule looks.
I'm really excited for that Portland race in a few weeks' time. It's a great track in anything that can really beat and bang, and that's what these trucks are known for. So I'm excited to see how these drivers get to handle that, and of course, getting a taste of some dirt as well. But we are a long way away from those right now, because we have another 63 laps of action here to decide who is going to start the season with the glory. Daytona just means a little bit more, I feel like, and
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be on the mind of all these drivers.
100%. You want to win at Daytona more than you want to win really anywhere else. That pace car is in. Justin Rod up through the gears. He goes. Green flag is back out here in the RPS Marketing 250. Gabe Cazzola kind of left all alone. Alex Kerfan jumps up to give him some help. Alonso Chicano doing the same.
And sometimes those rough starts can lead to big runs, and Gabe Cazzola is charging past. He's going to clear. Kerfan is going to follow, and are they going to try and move down to the low side? Or are they going to try and whip this high side train all the way as far as they can? Still room for Cazzola and Kerfan to move down, and it looks like Kerfan is going to walk them down, but Cazzola goes back to Chicano, does not want to be on that low side, likes the feel of the higher groove right now.
That was kind of interesting move by Cazzola to stay high, and I think it's because really, with the exception of the 09 William Kempf, everybody else up there is kind of teammates with Kerfan. Obviously not Cazzola either, but that 09 William Kempf, he separates teammates from being together. And I think those guys, especially Kerfan, want to stay on the top side and hope that Cazzola went down just so they all could work together. I mean, you got the 25, the 17, the 2, Radius Racing, or, well, Chicano Motorsports, PBR Manufacturing. Kerfan is leading this race, though, as he's going to push from Justin Rott. And Kerfan really can go to whatever lane he wants. Gonna stay with the bottom, though. Outside the line. He's going to get a big run with help from Alonso Chicano, pushing that 95 of Cazzola.
Yeah, it seems like Gabe wants to be a leader, does not want to be second in line very much, and so it kind of makes sense that Kerfan wouldn't want to merge up there, because if you know that truck behind you maybe doesn't want to be comfortable there, then they try and drop you off as soon as possible. And so Kerfan kind of has no choice but to try and work this low side with Justin Raw and Donald Stern, but they're doing a great job right now. They have the advantage, and while the checkups can be a little bit stronger on the inside line compared to the outside, if you're the leader, there is no concern about that whatsoever. We are 3 wide a little bit further back. Jacob Locklear and Rivers Jones once again trying to make that very high side work, and who is that now going with them? That 93. Is going to be Nick Donati in the number 93.
Still trying to learn some numbers. Different faces, different numbers, or same faces, different numbers as well. Kind of throwing me off. We'll get it. But yeah, this third line, it's now 5 strong.
You can see the leaders feel a little bit threatened there. They're trying to play both lanes. Chicano commits to it. Cazzola stays middle. But that block is going to kill the momentum slightly, and this is just going to really let that low line pull away, because they are completely unaffected by all of this drama.
I thought I said not too long ago that this should be calm for a while, because there's still plenty of racing to go. In fact, we're not even halfway. We're at 59 laps to go. This isn't calm by any means. You've got 4 trucks in that third line, led by Alonso Chicano. Justin Rock currently in the middle, leading the race, and he's got Alex Kerfan just underneath him, challenging for the race lead. And now Gabe Cazzola is going to go up to the top. He's going to lead the third line.
And you know who I think might be the smartest people in the room right now? The ones in that very long tail at the end of the inside line. Well out of the way, plenty of room to hit the brakes if the bid one happens here, as it so often does. But yeah, we have 6 trucks now in that high side. Got about 10 in the middle groove, and then maybe 10 or 12 fanned out in that low side. Only 2 trucks off the pack right now are Paul and Cameron. who are both carrying some wounds from earlier. They're currently about 20 seconds back, not in danger of being lapped just yet, especially because they have help from each other. But if they do get lapped, where do they go? I guess it's got to be apron at that point.
I mean, if you're on the bottom, it is simple. It is the apron. That is the answer of where you go if there is a wreck. If you're in the middle, you're stuck. If you're up top, you're stuck. The top line's starting to kind of dissipate a little bit. But really, also, there's nowhere to go. I mean, if you're Cazzola and you're called Chicano, rather, you can't go anywhere. Except maybe try to push up to the front and get clear bottom. And that's exactly what they're going to try to do, is now they've got some help. I believe that is Van Oostendorp in that 23 behind them. I definitely did not see this happening. And when you asked who the safest ones on out here were, I was going to say us. Being in the booth, we're about the only ones here at Daytona that aren't going to have an opportunity to wreck out.
Let's hope the wreck is not a front stretch. It's a tightrope game when you throw your wide here, and you've got to either try and stick the landing, or sooner or later you're going to fall. And there's a little bit of side-to-side contact there between Thompson and Rort, just because there's so little room to work with. Rort gives a bit of a rough bump there to Gabe Cazzola, but stayed pointing in the right direction. And I think a little bit further back, it is dissipated. Most of the field does not want to be in this gridlock. It's just those first 3 rows that are really still committed to trying to make this work, as we are just a few laps away from the halfway point.
Oh, how about Stern?
Still plenty of chaos.
Stern clear, Chicano clear! Chicano goes to the middle line. Stern goes all the way down to the bottom.
And now Gabe's stuck in a pushing position. Durand can't give the same, or Rorschach can't do the same work he was earlier. And now they're kind of playing the lanes. Chicano picking sort of the 2 and a 5th lane. And nearly a bad bump from Justin Rort that could have caused an almighty incident. It is a nose ahead for Alondo Chicano right now, and he might be the only safe one here for the time being. So if the wreck does happen, it's all in the mirror. Unless a little bit of a forward chain reaction. Shades of Brian Vickers, maybe.
How about Van Oostendorp on that outside line, challenging for the race lead with Alonso Chicano. Stern still strong on the bottom line as well, with help from Kerfan. 53 to go, 3 wide for the race lead as Van Oostendorp edging ahead of Chicano and Stern. And that is Rivers Jones helping him.
And these lines just do not look stable right now. And that means they run a little bit slower if you're weaving back and forth. And what it invites more people into the tail end to put themselves into a position to join the line and just increase the amount of fuel in this fire. All it needs is a spark at this point.
Rott is pushing Cazzola hard. And Cazzola is going to get the lap led. Chicano, he was able to get down to the bottom. So leading the bottom line. Those two in the middle. Kind of broken up a little bit. This is actually going to get Stern clear. Does Stern do anything? He does. He pulls to the outside in front of Cazzola. Now big gap between Kerfan and Chicano. But how about this? You've now got 3 Radius Racing teammates on the bottom until Stern pulls out ahead. Chicano, Kerfan, and Durand, all a part of Radius Racing.
And that high side seemed like it was dying out, but look who is giving the push of a lifetime here to keep it alive. Rivers Jones is not giving up on making this 3rd lane work, and he is giving a big shove to Travis Van Oostendorp. try and get him to the front of the field. And it's going to reignite that third groove with more trucks now joining as we come off turn number 2. We are going to hit the halfway point at the end of this lap. Are we going to make it through cleanly?
I don't know how they have made it this far like this, to be honest with you, Olivia. This is incredible what they are doing right now. Stern still lead the bottom, Cazzola in the middle, Van Oostendorp up top. 4 trucks make up that high line. And the halfway mark, it's going to be led by Stern.
An impressive showing, but there's now more chaos on the horizon. That lapped duo is back, and they are 3 wide, and they're going to have to make a tough decision here. The lappers are going to go low. Caldwell, in fact, does not really want to go to the apron, because they're going to end up in the apron on turn number 3, and that's even more dangerous.
Oh my.
Caldwell going to try and hold his ground. This is not the way you want to do this, and it's going to get everyone separated. Justin Durand has to just wait behind Caldwell. But quite honestly, a great job to not cause a massive incident there, as we go back into a double file. And in fact, Durand and Caldwell need to catch this lead lap group very quickly, because they have a bit of a breakaway now.
Durand moves to the outside line with, that's Fidel Fabian. Other drivers trying to go to the outside to get around Caldwell. And right now, it almost just seems like driving around a chicane, if you will. Caldwell, he's staying on the bottom, pulling as low as he possibly can, letting drivers past.
And this is another thing that makes this track so much more difficult compared to Talladega. If you're Caldwell, you can ride below the yellow line and still carry good speed and not have much risk of washing up. But he knows that at Daytona it's completely flat down there. You are going to come up and you try and run the corner at speed, and so into turn number 3. And that is what has caused so much trouble up front of this field. But it has maybe settled things down for the time being, as we are currently double file with Gabe Zola once again leading the second lane.
So Zola is going to get out ahead. Bottom line, in fact, Stern does not have Chicano right on him. This is going to just help that outside line. As you see now, Raw is clear. Raw and Cazzola, they go down to the bottom, so now the outside line is going to be led by William Kempf. Rivers Jones, Travis Van Oostendorp. Top 3 on the outside. Cazzola's playing the blocking game. He goes to the outside in front of Kempf.
I mean, this is... It's a game, it's a dangerous one. Right now, he's managed to balance that risk and not making the moves too aggressively. But then I will not be surprised if Rivers Jones tries to find someone to work with to make that move and to try and shuffle Gabe out of this, because he is looking mighty strong in this second lane right now.
And, oh yeah, he almost just got put through the sucker hole twice there. Cazzola somehow stays out ahead of William Kempf. Oh my goodness.
It's the old saying, you block once, shame on, you know, block twice, won't get blocked again or something. And very fortunate that they managed to get lined back up and not end up hooking someone. But now it's going to be on that second lane. It's going to be Levi Poland, actually, who I think might be trying to get further back than forwards, as he's 9 laps down currently. But the way the field's running, he is actually sat alone and gaining a bit of ground on that top side right now.
Right now, it's side draft could help him a little bit. I don't think anybody wants to go out there with him, though. Some drivers wiggling around. That's kind of expected. All the air moving around these trucks throughout the straightaways and in the corners. Travis Van Oostendorp, he moves to the high side as well as, is that Rivers? That is Rivers.
Of course it's Rivers. Who else would it be?
He's been loving that high line, and he's going to love it even more as this is pretty much going to put him 3 wide for the race lead with Cazzola and Rott. And they are catching Jacob Locklear. Now they're once again 3 wide. We saw how well this worked the last time it happened. I mean, they stayed green. It was sketchy. But what do you do?
I don't know. And it's worth mentioning Locklear was running this high line in the lead pack until a bit of a latency moment ejected him from the lead group, and is just going to get swallowed up here. It looks like he's going to commit to the high side, and Rivers Jones, his teammate, is saying, "Ooh, don't do that." He's giving a call. It's way too late. That is going to cause an issue. That is going to cause some big problems. And it's Gabe Cazzola who somehow gets the advantage from that. But that was far too late, and that it felt like was a case of listening to your teammate over listening to your common sense there.
Well, we're still 3 wide. 3 rows deep. Cazzola leads. William Kempf. 3rd car on the bottom, or truck rather. That is Locklear. That outside line making some ground again.
And we're still about another 10 laps before pit stops here, so this is not looking to calm down anytime soon because that top side is getting stronger and stronger. And of course, now you've got another lap truck involved, and this one is still in full working condition, and he's going to want to make sure if he gets to the front of the field here that he can just race his lap back and maybe get a good cycle through the pit stops.
It is Satmary who got out of the way the last time. Dropped down to the apron. We'll see what Satmary does this time around, but still Rivers Jones leading this race. Satmary stays on the bottom. This will be leading to 4 wide.
And it's leading to chaos behind, slides, and is that going to bring out the caution? Surely it will. And somehow we're still green, iRacing? And finally the caution fly. And that was a manual caution as well. That was Caldwell saying enough's enough on that one. And that's such a tricky spot because again, it's in the corner. The lapper doesn't want to be on the apron because that can cause its issue more directly. But it just caused so much issue. It was so late of a signal that they were going to stay up here, and no one was really ready for it.
Thompson.
And that's the squeeze.
Oh yeah. Kerfan getting a piece of it. Oh my goodness, Kerfan almost getting more of a piece. Wow. Justin Rott just squeaking through, maybe minor scrapes. That 76. Well, he has a 30 inside of him. Dakota Knoll, little piece in that. Dakota Knoll, I think, has been caught up in every single one of these yellows tonight.
I think it's McCorkle who's taken the worst brunt of that, unfortunately. It's still limping it back to the pack and does not look stable on the way back to pit lane. Here's the onboard, you can just see. Goes to the middle, tries to keep putting it. Thompson has to move up, tries to avoid the lap car. And really, something's not right on that truck. got it locked down, but and we come down to pit lane. Everyone's going to take a full tank of fuel.
Oh
And
my
start
goodness!
with 37 to go, as that is Justin Rourke facing backwards in the pit stall.
What in the world happened? Oh. That was Stern that got into the back of him. Wow. Let's see that again. Let's see from the blimp view.
I mean, Stern's another 3 stalls down. I think really tried to merge a bit too early there.
We're going to try that
But maybe
again.
also Rourke merged a bit too late, honestly, because just a little bit of a miscue. And now a driver that's been at the front all race long has a lot of work to do. And has a lot of damage to fix before he can even get back to doing that.
Yeah, sorry about the pop-up from, what was that, Microsoft Teams. I accidentally clicked on it. And so that's what you saw instead of the spin from the blimp view. So that's why we watched it again. I don't even... There's some things pinned down on my taskbar I don't even use. Microsoft Teams is one of them. And I think I've clicked on it several times over the last couple weeks. I just need to get rid of it.
I was going through my startup stuff recently, and there was an old installer for Teams that was still listed there for some reason. I'm not quite sure why. So I've made sure to get rid of that one. We are going to restart here with 37 laps to go. And so I'm going to be keeping a very close eye on those speed gauges at the front of the field once we get back up to speed to see just what speed that is and whether anyone is going to try and stretch this further back. If you're at the front, you're going to have to make that stop, so you either try and back the whole field up, or you try and push everyone forward. But you don't try and make that decision quickly, because the longer you wait to make that call, the easier it becomes to go against you and take advantage of the strategy. And that is a lot of trucks, it looks like, coming in for the top of everyone from 11th on back, it seems like, has topped off on fuel, and so the field is clearly thinking mileage here.
Yeah, and so, you know, we've got the choose cone rule. Well, if you pit, you get rid of your ability to choose. So these 3 trucks that are on the outside right now, being Jones, Thompson, and David Durand, they're the only 3 that's going to be up there on this restart. Everybody else is going to have to wait until they cross the start-finish line to jump up there if they so choose. We're restarting, 37 laps to go, and it is going to be tight, tight, tight on fuel.
From the open wheel side, I'm used to restarts like this, and the thing that sometimes catches people out is the checkups should be twice as strong with a line this long. And we'll see if we get a quick caution to make that fuel number much easier. It's a good getaway from Rivers. Jones, a great getaway on that top side. And William Kemp has room to slot in.
Oof.
But I think we're in no single file pretty quickly. At least, no, we're in a stacked up double file, and we're going to see exactly what sort of pace this field wants to run.
Right now, advantage.
Jones does not want to be leading here.
Advantage to that outside line, though. Now Kemp has friends. Jones.
He's on the fuel save here. And it could be doing musical chairs at the front of the field. as no one is going to want to punch the hole in the air if they think that we're agreeing to the end here. It goes until he finds someone who's going to take the gamble that we're going to have a wreck. But of course, if everyone's running 80%, then that wreck becomes less likely. It looks like William Kemp is happy to lead right now. Bailey Thompson, happy to maybe get some laps led, I believe would be their first laps led in BSR competition.
Now, I'm trying to remember, I was actually, we kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, and I'm pretty sure it was Talladega last season. You were in the booth for it.
I definitely was not. Oh, what was I? No, I think I missed Atlanta. I think I might have been in
Talladega. Atlanta. That's right. Talladega, I'm pretty sure it came down to, I mean, just the entire field running 75, 50% throttle. William Kemp was like the only one that was like, nah, I'm not doing that. And he just took off from the field. And so this is kind of reminding me of Talladega right now. If everybody is going to start slowing down to save fuel, Kemp, he wants no part of that. He's just going.
And one thing I'm noticing, a lot of drivers at the front of the field did not start there. Chicano up 17 spots, Thompson up 23, David Durant up 28 to this position. They have already made big moves. They don't want to give this up for a potential through mileage run. I think that is why we're seeing the pace of this pack as heavy as it is. The question now just becomes, if you're at the tail end, can you make this work at 190 miles an hour, or are you going to be forced to make a slash and dash as well?
Well, I think a lot of these guys are kind of hoping that there's a caution and that they're not in it so that they can get some fuel. Everybody in the back, they're saying, just keep it green. You guys keep driving hard. We're going to do our best to save. Kempf and Chicano, the bottom two trucks. Thompson and David Durand, the top two trucks. Both Durand brothers up there. Justin, third on the bottom line. And you know, for Rivers Jones to be up here trying to save fuel, I'm very surprised that he is still on that outside line in third place. Well, third on the outside line, that is. But these guys still running pretty hard. He is saving some fuel, but not much. Right now it is kind of calm, but I can tell you, Kemp's still 190 into the corners. So there's definitely no saving going on by Kemp.
And there can't be. He doesn't have someone ahead to help him make the number. His only option here, if he wants to lead the way, is to push the pace as much as possible and make everyone else follow him into pit lane. There are going to be 31 laps to go when we hit the line here. It's a long way, especially with the laps we've already run under green. And of course, if we do get that caution, it suddenly becomes a lot easier. You save the fuel there, you can even make it a green-white checker if you need to. And Kemp has the track position to continue to dominate this race as Lon Chicano pulls to the inside and is going to try and make that work as well. Can Bailey Thompson find anything on the high side?
Chicano is clear. I don't think Chicano would try to make any kind of move without a teammate behind, or to be able to be behind him, which he does have Justin Rand there. I think Chicano just kind of perfectly happy riding right now. And they're pitting. A lot of them. That is all the Radius guys. And my guys. Chicano Motorsports, PBR Manufacturing.
to be fair, that's the other way you can try and force the hand of the fuel savers. Better than trying to pull them at a high speed. Just drop them off entirely. Don't let them have your slipstream. Everyone comes in. How much fuel do they take? Some of these are quite long stops. 7 seconds for Chicano. That's not how much we need to get to the end. And so, with some trucks, it looks like going for much shorter stops. It's a little bit of a risk. 5.6 from Toto Knoll, the fastest stationary time. And they're going to line up 4th place in this second group. And now they're going to try and push and hope that no one at the front is willing to keep the same speed up.
Some other drivers coming out pit road. Looks like a lot of the GOAT guys. And I'm going to assume this is in reaction to the Radius guys coming out pit road. So it had to have been a last-minute call by them. These guys off and rolling. Look at.
The question is where they merge this second group now. This is not the patch for the lead. This is currently 20th place Michael Kruger, but have taken that final stop. They're guaranteed to make it here.
And they're going to be behind. He's, well, kind of.
There's a run of a lifetime here, though.
Oh, yeah.
Getting to the high side.
And everybody that just came down pit road that time by not grouped up together like these Radius guys are. This is a big advantage for these Radius
Big
trucks.
Concern. They're going to be 3 wide behind. They could lose the draft here. They could have caused the wreck here. But they're going to get away with it. The lead pack's still 14 trucks strong, but they are not pushing at the same pace. That is closer to 180 miles an hour at the front of the field. Their second group lined up closer to 190. So if the leaders have to make that stop still, they are going to come out well behind and potentially out of the draft of those lead lap cars if they stay out much longer.
And they need to figure out what they're going to do very quickly. If anybody else is going to pit, I think it might be too late.
Yeah, I'd say this lap is the last chance you have if you want to make a pit stop to the end here. Otherwise, I think you're committed to trying to make this fuel save happen. And honestly, how quickly that second group is lapping and how disorganized this front group is. They are swarming around this lap truck of Cameron Caldwell, it looks like. I just don't think this is going to work out for them.
And with them still running 2x2, kind of not really organized. And I go back and look at these guys, who are also 2x2, but very organized and pushing hard. Just makes me wonder who's really got the advantage as Kruger moves to the outside, and that brings Kerfan even with Kruger. These guys, they want it to stay green. But they're pushing hard. They're so packed up. These guys could easily be the caution.
Yeah, they gained 1.6 seconds on the lead group last time by. They are flying back here. If they can stay at this pace and if they can keep out of trouble, they will absolutely get back to the leaders before the end of the race. But it seems like they've maybe ramped up their pace slightly at the front of the field. It's going to be a big ask for them to hold off this hard-charging group, and really the main hope is that they do get a little bit too hasty and do end up bringing out a caution to bail them out.
So we got 2 packs to try to keep an eye on for anything that could happen. Back to the lead. Thompson, Bailey Thompson leads. David Arand, Rivers Jones up here. These are the first 3 cars on the bottom. It's Nick Donati and Noah Loveridge on that outside line.
And Kemp is in. And surely Kemp is just going to be set completely adrift here. Is not going to latch on to that second group as they've closed in so much already.
And being a single
really
truck
not
as
sure
well. That's going to
why
hurt.
they're not pit now.
Yeah. I don't know about that call, because here comes these guys. And
He's
Kemp.
not even off pit road yet. He's not to the cones.
No.
And that just shows that at this point, this lead group has to make the fuel save work. But more and more drivers are bailing out. David Durand doesn't think he can make it work. That's one less for this group to save off. Now down to just 12 trucks. And meanwhile, they are being hunted by Michael Kruger, Alex Kerpen, Zach Prost, and the rest of this hard-charging pack behind. Now, just 27 seconds off the race lead, with 23 laps left to go.
Michael Kruger, a two-time winner of this race. Love to get a third. David Durand, another two-time winner of this race. I just saw him, talked about him coming down pit road by himself. Another one I'm surprised about. So we believe this is a battle for what will be the win. But right now it's 14th. It's what the battle is for.
It's what could be the win. There's still so much time for anything to happen, and Daytona is one of those places. We're about to crest the 200-mile mark, 50 more left to go. And one caution, and all of this strategy goes out the window, and it becomes an all-out brawl to the finish.
And really, these races, they have been a battle between Radius / Chicano Motorsports working together, and the other side of it being GOAT. And right now, I mean, this is the exact battle that we're seeing for, again, what we believe will be for the race win. And now they are three wide.
They can't fight yet because they still need to close down this lead. They don't know that they have to pit still. And they need to sort out these differences after they make sure it is for the race win. Because right now they are, again, just scrapped 13th place, and that does not seem very lucky, and it does not seem like it could end well if they keep it at this rate. And keep slowing each other down a little bit by just throwing these moves.
And they are three wide. Michael Kruger, of course, blocking that high line. So you've got, I mean, these Radius Chicano Motorsports guys leading, or rather controlling this pack. What do you do if you're GOAT? You can't go anywhere. They tried by making the third line.
I think you try and get and work together, and then as you get around that fuel save group, if you get there, you try and use that chaos to make a move for the race win. I think you have to be patient and wait for the opportunity to arise, and oftentimes slower cars, whether it's lappers or cars in different strategy, that's going to be your moment. But they are going to shuffle into close to a single file groove here. The speed's still running nice and quickly in that middle lane, but a very different formation than what we saw just a lap ago.
Yeah, they really eliminated Kruger from this by all dropping out of that high line. Kruger still stuck right up against that wall. So this puts Alonso Chicano in the middle, leading the line as everything shuffles again. Michael Walls goes to the middle behind Alonso Chicano. Tristan Maher leading that outside line. He's got no help, so these guys trying to shuffle everybody that they can back. still controlled by Radius Racing.
But how much control do you ever really have at Daytona? A lot of it is in the hands of the Fates, it feels like, and they are playing with fire here.
And that they are. Kruger and Maher back up to the high line, trying to make something happen and control that outside once again. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it. They're trying. They're making it work. They're back 3 wide for the 13th spot. And when they catch, if they catch the lead pack, which they are now, they were on the same straightaway.
Oh, they are 4 wide. They are 4 wide in this second
Lord.
pack here.
Oh my. I saw Michael Walls getting squirrely. They're back 3.
It seems like a sign of things to come. There is discontent in this group right now. They are closing in at a rate of, last time by, 4 seconds on the lead group. They are going to get there quickly. But that lead group is currently all running in one group with a couple of cars spotted into an alternate line. You cannot be 3 wide here and find any success getting around them. We're not talking one lap car who might go to the 8th, and this is for the race lead.
Yeah.
And in fact, at the front of the field, they are starting to fan out a little bit. They know that they need to fill that space. And right now, the entire blockade of this Radius Racing GOAT group is going to run into a brick wall.
They are, I mean, so close now. And so, I mean, really, it'd be simple. Just go where they're not. But when you're 3 wide, there's not much more room on this track than 3 wide. I mean, how do you do it?
You get out of 3 wide, you see the group ahead, and someone has to have the sense to say, maybe let's slot back in and not try and force the issue, because we saw one set of trucks go 4 wide and it almost caused some issues. It is not going to work with this many. Caldwell peels off from pit lane, he's laps down. As for the rest of the field, this is for the lead lap, this is not going to end well. We are 4 wide, there's contact. And there's a spin.
Oh!
And
Michael Walls up!
Walls, who brings out the caution with 14 laps to go.
How?
And somehow that is all that happens from it.
How? That should have been humongous.
I mean, even for that one trick, it nearly went up and over.
No.
It was that contact from Zach Probst who just had to try and squeeze around.
I mean, great job by McCorkle. Good Lord, he was close to hitting walls.
And it's good awareness. It's getting on the brakes as soon as you see smoke ahead. It can bite you if there's no caution that comes from it, but McCorkle doing the smart thing there and managed to avoid, I think, any contact with walls, doing a great job. As we now form up, or start to try and form up behind the pace car. And now the question is, for those trucks that stayed out, do they trust that they have enough fuel to make it to the end, especially with up to 3 green-white checkers on the table?
As hard as they were saving, no. I don't think so. I think they got a pit. For the Radius guys, for the Go guys, they're safe.
Yeah, they took 5-6 seconds on the stop. They made sure they had enough fuel for whatever might have came here. I mean, Philip Scott's made his intentions very clear early. And then there's going to be about 10 laps to go, or if anything, exactly 10 laps to go on the restart. Is that time to work your way through? Maybe not if they go 3 wide ahead. And in fact, Scott is going to stay out. Donati will pit, as will Loveridge, Thompson, and Wareham behind. But it is only about 7 or 8 trucks. The rest of the field, including everyone who made those earlier stops, they're in a cycle lead. It's going to be Philip Scott, but then Rivers Jones going to have to choose directly behind. I think if you're here, you take tyres. There's no reason not to at this point. You try and use that superior grip, but some drivers are going to take the splash of fuel and go.
Oh, man.
And you see Scott is running on the apron. He didn't go down there to signal pit lane. He went down there because he is worried about fuel.
You know, most of the viewers have probably heard me say this, as I say it a lot. Olivia, you now get to hear me say this, and you'll hear me say this a lot too. I'm not a crew chief. I don't claim to be. And I am so confused as to what's going on right now, and I am glad that I'm not having to make a call to stay out or pit right now if I'm one of the, like, Philip Scott, Rivers Jones. I mean, I'm confused. But they know what they're doing. It's the reason I'm not out there. And so we'll see. We'll see how this plays out for them.
I think it comes down to when the caution is, if there is a caution. I think if we stay green, then we're good. And I don't think Scott would have stayed out if he wasn't confident on having 10 laps of fuel left in that truck. If we get a quick caution, then that burns off 3-4 laps of the race at, 70 miles an hour, and suddenly Scott is more than good to go, and keeping the trap position was a genius move. If we get a caution on lap 99, though, and it adds time to the race, and we start heading to overtimes, 1, maybe 2, maybe 3, then you'll have to pit, and then you only have 2 laps to work forward instead of 10. It's about just guessing what is going to happen in the rest of the race based on the first 90 laps, but these last 10 will be nothing like what we've seen in the opening 225 miles.
No. In fact, I don't think they're done. By any means. Bringing out a yellow.
Well, maybe staying out was a good call, then maybe we'll have more chance to save fuel behind the pace truck. Or maybe we'll go deep into lap 110 and there's no chance of anyone.
Well, I'm telling you, you see that 30, see that 42 on that outside.
Oh,
watch them.
They're in a perfect spot.
Yes, watch them. I think they are going to be very aggressive on this restart and do everything they can to get around Payne.
And that could be what Scott needs if Scott needs a caution, because Curfin and Crude are not gonna lift for a block here if one does come. I hope it's a clean block.
So we have 10 laps to go when the green flag comes out. The pace truck is going to head to the safety of pit road. Philip Scott, he is your control truck, and he is inside the restart zone. The green flag is waving. And we've got them stacking up in the background. Dakota Knoll, he is wrecking. Probst is around in front of the field. The yellow is going to come out very soon. We're still green, and now caution is out. And I'm not really sure what happened. Lots of
And it seems like it might have been a
checkups.
jump at the front of the field that caused a lot of miscommunication. We were saying Scott was the control car. It looks like the 75, Randy Payne, went a bit early, and so the entire top lane started going before the bottom lane had got their foot on the gas. Then if you're 10 trucks back in the bottom lane, you react. Did you see everyone going at that point? And suddenly there's a check-up, and it ends up bumping around, first of all, Donald Stern, it looks like. And it's just chaos behind, and it's the 62 in the end. Zach Probst, who spins up the track to bring the caution out, rather than down into the trial grass. Now the blessing there, it was a low-speed wreck. There wasn't as much kinetic energy in there. The bad news, there was a lot of mass in there. There were a lot of trucks in a small space.
Yeah.
And it seems like that is going to end the day for a couple of people. Justin Raw is not in a good state coming out of that incident.
We're going to have to reset the field.
That 76 truck looks haunted.
Yeah.
It is bouncing in the corners.
A lot of damage for Justin Rott. So
Alex Kerfan did get to the lead before the caution came out there.
Yeah,
and Michael Crude will be in third. Can either get alongside or directly behind the number 30.
I'm a little confused by that. Kerfan able to get the race lead there. But, I mean...
Well, they were in the high side that launched a bit early, and I think that is why.
Yeah, that is true.
That run.
That is true.
Sort of gifted it by Randy Payne, as he's going to be forced to the tail end for that infraction.
So for Kruger, I think as long as Scott doesn't take the same lane as Kerfan, Kruger definitely going to go with Kerfan. They also have Maher right there, so depending on what Jones does, Maher might be able to line up behind Kruger and to put these three teammates all nose to tail. It all just depends on what Scott and Jones do. And you know, Jones, he might, I don't know. He knows these three are teammates. He could try to shake things up. For Scott, though, I don't see how you can turn away the front row.
Yeah, and especially because in this situation, Scott got the caution he wanted. He has the additional fuel now. There's less of a question mark hovering over the number 9 truck. And they follow. And so that'll move Michael Cruder up to the front row on this restart.
And actually, so this does split them up just a little bit, because now you have Maher behind Scott, Scott behind Kerfan, Jones will be behind Kruger, and it looks like Stern at 71 going to line up behind Jones. So these guys are kind of broken up right now. This is still anybody's ball game. So we're going to restart with 6 laps to go here in the RPS Marketing 250 here for the season opener of the Blazer Sim Racing Grid Network Truck Series. Tristan Maher, he is last season's champion. Looking to start this season off right with a win, or at least a good finish. Kruger, he'd love to be the first 3-time winner of this event. Right now, Kurt Fan is the one in control. Go ahead, Olivia.
I've just remembered that we have that clean driver award on offer. The highest finishing driver with 0 incidents in each race picks up a $20 prize. Do you think anyone's still eligible for that tonight?
That's a good question. I don't know. And I don't think any of these guys are thinking about it either. I think the true where drivers will start remembering is next week when we get to a track that isn't Daytona.
Agreed. It is 15 miles for glory here. It is going to be Alex Kerfan in control, and he's going to get us going. Not a big jump. You don't want a big jump in this situation.
Outside line has a big push. Van Oostendorp moves to the outside line. He thought about it. Right now, Kerfan leading. Kruger. He's coming with the advantage on the outside. So the third line is starting to form. Well, they started to, but it's still 2 lines right now. They're coming to 5 laps. Go, there's a wreck! Justin Rand around Bailey Thompson up and over. Cameron Caldwell spinning. And we are under caution for the 7th time tonight. Looks like I could not tell. Is that the 11? Fabian, maybe? They got into Thompson? I couldn't tell who that was. That was the 11, yes. Sent Thompson up into Justin Rand. Looks like the 84, and that is Thornton. Getting involved as well. Dakota Knoll once again. I think Dakota Knoll has hit the incident limit. So we are under the caution for the 7th time, like I mentioned. Alex Kerfan, still your race leader. Michael Kruger, P2. Philip Scott getting another yellow. He needs to save fuel. Then it's going to be Rivers Jones, Tristan Maher rounding out the top 5. Travis Van Oostendorp in 6th. How about Zachary Wareham? I don't even think we have talked about him all night long. He is in 7th place in his number 98 machine. Donald Stern, David Arand Jr., and Alonso Chicano make up the top 10. I believe Olivia is having a little bit of technical difficulties right now, so...
I'm back here.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Maybe a little bit.
Just a little.
Is this going to be a natural green-white checker at this point?
Yeah.
Which means that it will not use up the first attempt. So we might not be done with these rats here. Not for a while.
Well, we have 3 additional chances to get it right. And so, with that being said, I'll kind of walk you through how this works. So this right here is not an attempt at overtime. This will be a natural green-white checkered, which means that it still will finish within the scheduled distance of 100 laps, assuming there's no caution. If we do get a caution and we've got to go to overtime, we're going to get 3 chances to try it again, which means it's green-white checkered. If you come around and complete one lap, you'll get the white flag. And any wreck that possibly happens after that will not bring out a yellow. iRacing does not throw cautions if there is an accident after the white flag is brought out, which means these drivers will go around to collect the checkered flag under green flag conditions. However, if we do use all 3 of our attempts at a green, white, checkered, and they still can't get it figured out before they take the white flag, yellow comes out, then the race will end under yellow, and whoever is in the lead by the time the caution comes out will win the race, as long as they have enough fuel to pace around. Lights on the pace car are off. Alex Kerfan takes the bottom. Kruger takes the top. So Scott will be behind Kerfan. Jones will be behind Kruger. Maher also likes to go to that top line. Let's put Maher behind Jones. And it looks like Travis Van Oostendorp will be, restarting third on the bottom. Still anybody's race.
My pit's still in. Feels like a miracle after this many acts.
Mine's been out since, 77 laps ago. And he let me know about it. Sorry, Bogey.
I saw.
25 drivers still have a chance to win this race. Cameron Caldwell only 1 lap down. If there is another caution and he's not involved, he could become the free pass and then have an opportunity to win it. And I've seen crazy things happen on iRacing at these restrictor plate races where drivers who are 18th can win it. I have never had that fortune, but I've made some pretty big gains from mid-pack up to the front before in races like this. So, I mean, if you're still in it, you have a chance to win it. You just need to be in the right place at the right time and let the cards fall in your favor. The iRacing pace truck going to head to the safety of pit road where these guys are going to turn them loose once again for 2 laps. And the green flag is out. Alex Kerfan leading us once again.
I got a good run ahead of Michael Kruger here. Watching the 42 build back on the high side, it's going to be out of turn 2, where we really see the momentum build. Remember, if they can just make it another couple of miles to the start-finish line, we will race this out. We won't have any more incidents. And here comes the run from Kruger, getting a push from Rivers Jones and Tristan Maher. They say don't push the pusher. I think all bets are off at this point. They're already 3 wide in the background. But it's mainly these 2 lanes. It's Kerfen versus Kruger with their supporting casts. And out of turn 4, Kerfen will have the advantage. Will we make it back to the white flag here? It looks like we will. 1 more lap to go. This race is official.
White flag is out. Kruger, he's got an advantage over Kerfan on that outside line. Rivers Jones still pushing. Kruger needs to make sure that Jones doesn't try to make a move around him, try to steal this thing away from him. Kerfan, big run back on the bottom with help from Scott. Outside line starting to form up. They pull back in the line. Michael Kruger hanging not quite where he wants to be. Philip Scott is clear. Travis Van Oostendorp is clear. They move up to the middle. They're starting to wreck behind. Van Oostendorp goes to the high side. Philip Scott wrecks. Alex Kerfan's going to win the race. There's going to be a party in Romulus, Michigan tonight. And Michael Kruger, Rivers Jones will get second. But how about it for Alex Kerfan?
And that was a fantastic block off turn 4. Not aggressive, not going to cause a spin. Just moves up that half a lane to the middle. Reading the mind of Philip Scott almost. Covers off the move, gets a 1 more shot, and at that point, there was nothing for the 9 to do. Alex Kerfen will wheel it back to victory lane and burn it down in front of these fans.
Kerfan, he's been around for a long time in this series. He is a driver that you can never count out to win races, and he was on a very long cold streak. Was really down on himself for it. And once he got a win, they've just kept clicking off for him. And Kerfan, he will not stop winning. Came so close to winning the championship last season, and now he's got his teammates Tristan Maher and Cameron Caldwell out there celebrating with him on the front stretch at Daytona.
And if you're wondering how much fuel Kerfen had left at the checker there, I think he's going to show you everything he had left. I think he's going to burn this one down until it won't go no more.
And he parked it. So let's go ahead and look at the unofficial race results here in the RPS Marketing 250 at Daytona. Alex Kerfan, of course, your race winner. Rivers Jones comes home P2. Tristan Maher, 3rd. Michael Kruger, P4. David Rand, 5th. Zachary Wareham, 6th. Michael Wall, 7th. William Kempf, 8th. Travis Van Oostendorp, 9th. And Gabe Cazzola brings it home in 10th.
Philip Scott was second out of turn 4. Will crawl across for P11 ahead of Fidel Fabian. Justin Durand, the last one in that lead group, and then Alonso Chicano, Jacob Locklear, Nick Donati, Troy Sand, Stephen Thornton, Aaron Van Druska, Noah Loveridge, and Bailey Thompson down to 21st place. The only ones that realistically made it with that first pack.
Donald Stern brings it home in 22nd. Zach Probst, 23rd. Cody McCorkle, 24th. Randy Payne, 25th. Last one on lead lap. Cameron Caldwell, 1 lap down in 26th. Dakota Knoll, 27th. Justin Rott, 28th. Levi Poland, 29th. And Paul Satmary finishes in 30th.
And then final retirements. Duncan 4 actually entered late. Still completed 48 laps and managed to snipe that 0x bonus. The only driver to finish the race without at least 4 incidents. And then, of course, Ryan Bodie with early technical issues, and then Shane O'Neill and Adam Kuhn. Your final retirements from tonight's race at Daytona. And those 4 cars that were 35 seconds back, those were all penalties post-race. So Stern, Probst, McCorkle, and Payne all ending up above that incident limit in the final rep to the line. Unfortunate for them. But, of course, glory for the number 30 of Alex Kerfen.
Let's go ahead and talk to our top 3. Of course, 2 of them still in team chat. I don't know. Okay, that was weird. Let's see. Tristan, are you there?
I am.
Hey, buddy. 3rd place
How you
finish.
doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing good.
That's good. 3rd place finish for you here tonight. It was a wild one out there, but just kind of walk us through how your night was.
It was a bit sketchy for most of the night, I would say. It was just kind of a sketchy race all around. You know, we had some lappers that weren't too great, and other things. But yeah, other than that, I mean, personally, I am pretty happy with the 3rd place finish. Always happy to finish a super speedway race, and I feel like 3rd is a pretty good result. Good start to the season and a good way to build on it.
It is a pretty good start to the season, and I talked about how being the defending champion, coming in here, you want to start the season off on the right foot. You've done that with a podium finish, so now kind of the season starts, and you go to it's Kentucky next week. So with this finish here, how does this add to the momentum going forward?
Oh, it's good. I haven't touched my sim rig a whole lot since the end of last season. Haven't been doing a whole lot of ovals, trucks, so I'll definitely be practicing a little bit for Kentucky. I think figure out what's going on there. I think last time I was there, I murdered everybody by overcorrecting super hard, but try not to do that again. We'll do that, and then I think the first race that I really have my eye on this season is going to be Portland. I'm super excited for that. So it's looking to be a good season. A lot of good tracks. It's gonna be a good season. Hopefully we can get things cleaned up with a lot of the new guys that we have running in. Glad that they showed up. Hopefully we can get some stuff cleaned up and cleared up, and everybody have fun racing with each other.
Sponsor shout outs. Who gets it done for you?
First gotta shout out you guys in the booth. Obviously you guys really make or break the race, If there's no broadcast or something like that, I'm normally really, bummed out, because I love going back and listening to you guys and watching the race, seeing what happened. So you guys open the booth, and then obviously everybody on Radius, and who else? Cam for making my paint on the truck. I think that's all I got.
All right. Well, congrats on the podium finish, and we will see you next week at Kentucky.
Well, I do have one more shout out.
All right, go ahead.
Chicano Motorsports, PBR Manufacturing.
I was waiting for it.
Yeah. Sorry. I sometimes do the names long. Okay, it's hard for me to remember. Small brain here.
All right.
I only know how to turn left, and that's it.
Well, I don't know. You are good at road courses too.
Fair.
All right. We'll see you.
All right, guys. Thanks, guys. All right.
That was Tristan Maher, our 3rd place finisher tonight.
Oh, wow. Yeah, okay.
And, Olivia has our 2nd place finisher.
I sure do. Rivers, an interesting race for you there, especially with the strategy calls in the back half, but it ended up working out and you got yourself a seat at the table on that final restart. Talk us through, first of all, the decision to try and fuel save to the end, and then once you got that caution, how you approached those final restarts and got through all the chaos that they unfolded.
Yeah, it was a bit of a struggle to start the race. I mistimed my qualifying laps, so I wasn't able to get my 2nd lap in, which it would have been much quicker, and I would have been in a much higher spot. Instead, I qualified 28th, so that put me on the back foot to start, and it was just exceptionally hard to make ground. I would say like the first 35 or so laps. I mean, it was just side by side, and people were too nervous to go up to the top to make it 3 wide, which I totally understand it being that early in the race, but it's just really difficult. And at some point we started being able to make some moves. I was able to get up there, and we had some cautions, and then like I said, we had that fuel saving call, and I was confident I was going to be able to make it. I didn't really want to pit like the Radius team did, and they pitted, and they ended up being able to catch the first pack, which was interesting because I was saving pretty hard, but I'm not sure a lot of other people were saving until like the very end of that run, and it was really frustrating because we would come out of the corner going like 170, and then the radius pack is catching us real quick, and they caught us, and then we had that caution. And before the caution, I just wasn't totally sure I was going to be able to make it on fuel. Earlier in the run, I think I would have been able to, but at some point we just started racing each other a lot harder, and that was kind of hurting my fuel savings. So I was definitely happy for that those cautions, and I was able to save a good amount under those cautions, and it set me up for a good finish.
Yeah, and of course, that final restart, second in line, behind Alonso on the high side. Tried to get the run. It didn't seem to fully work out for you, but then the seas parted, coming across the stripe to start finish, and ended up giving you second place. Did you expect to have that one fall into your lap at the end there?
Yeah, that was crazy. I knew I was gonna have to push Kruger pretty hard if I wanted to keep my track position, and I was doing a pretty good job pushing him. Excuse me, I would say. But like with half a lap to go, I realized my water temperature was like climbing and climbing. It was like getting to the red. It was like 270. So I was like, oh crap, I want to push them. I don't want to blow up and wreck everybody. So I kind of had to back off a little bit, which I felt bad about. But I mean, it's just a decision you have to make, you know. And I thought I was just gonna have to settle with like a P6, P7, or whatever it was gonna be. But whenever I was coming out of 4, I was like, okay. But yeah, like you said, the seas parted. I mean, I saw Philip get hooked by that 23 car, and he wrecked right in front of me. I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna turn to the left and try to avoid that. And like you said, seas parted. I was able to get past a couple cars. Kind of doored Tristan Meyer, which I apologize to him for, but I was just trying to avoid the car wrecking him outside. But yeah, I definitely wasn't expecting a P2 finish with the previous circumstances, for sure.
Well, congratulations. Great way to start the season. We'll, of course, see you a week from now over at Kentucky. But if there's anything you want to say to the fans at home before we head off, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you to the GOAT guys on Turn 1 Autosport team members. We couldn't really get hooked up with each other during that race, but you know, they're great people. I was in the VC with Randall Payne, Justin Rott, those guys. Thank you to Mom and Dad. Love y'all so much. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thank you.
So Rivers Jones, your second place finisher. And now, taking home the first race win of season number 8, it is Alex Kerfen.
Alex, first of all, congrats on the win. That was an incredible job.
Oh yeah, felt very good. Definitely felt good to get redemption after a season or two ago, was it, when I crossed the finish line first? But you know, I did it below the yellow line, so got the win taken away from me. But now we got it back.
Well, I want to talk about that strategy you guys called there at the end. Being somebody that has worked with you guys, I'm not surprised to see the strategy, but it definitely caught me off guard originally when it happened. All you guys coming down pit road, getting your last bit of fuel that you needed, and then everything kind of playing into the cards of going green until you guys caught up to the lead pack when chaos started to happen. So overall, it allowed you to get up to the front. I think you restarted in 6th, and then immediately a caution came out, and somehow you got up into the lead. So,
Oh,
I
actually,
mean,
yeah, actually, I restarted in fourth, and I think the truck in front of me jumped the start, and then I inherited first.
so at that point, you had first. What was going through your mind? I mean, things can get pretty sketchy on those restarts, and there was a few of them.
Yeah, I'd like to take credit for that strategy, but I was one of the ones on the team who felt like we might have had a chance to save the fuel, but a couple of others like Mikey and Cody were pretty adamant that we were not going to be able to save that amount of fuel. I mean, with excessive fuel saving, you might have been able to, which we seen from the front pack. They were going like 3.5 seconds slower than us, but that's at that pace. As you've seen, they're just not going to win the race, and so that strategy worked out pretty good, especially because we're pitting early in the run, so we're short fueling, and even if a caution comes out while we're pitting, we cycle back up to the front. So I thought it was a pretty sound strategy after hearing the arguments from my teammates, and it worked out pretty good. I mean, albeit the chaos that happened when we caught back up. But yeah, I was able to control the pack after the restart with very exceptional pushing from Philip Scott, and it worked out for us in the end. And I didn't go below the yellow line this time.
No, you did not. This one is yours to keep and go celebrate with. But before we get to the shout-outs, I mentioned how you've been winning a lot of races. You became one of the drivers into the Final Four last season for a chance to win a championship. So, I mean, what kind of momentum does this put you with moving forward as we head to Kentucky?
Yeah, I'm always aiming for the championship for every season, and it feels like I'm already on the right track with a win. Obviously, next, what's the next race? Kentucky, Texas? What you said?
Kentucky.
Kentucky. Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not going to make it. So, padding a win in the stat book definitely helps lock myself into the playoffs, and looking forward to another run at the championship four. Try to make it, I think, 3 or 4 in a row, something like that. So, yeah, I hope everything goes good.
All right. Well, sponsor, shout outs, who gets it done for you?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my friends and family who watch the race. It's always cool of them to support us and give us that viewership. I'd like to thank all of my sponsors like Kerfans Market, Grid Network, Corwell Health, C2 Graphics. I'd like to thank all my teammates, especially for the strategy call today. That was spot on. Special shout outs to Cody and Mikey. I think they were the main strategists today. I'd like to thank Philip Scott. He might not be my teammate, but that pushing at the end is what helped me win the race. And thanks to you guys for the great broadcast.
All right. Congrats on the win. And, well, we'll see you next time out.
Thank you.
That was your race winner, Alex Kerfan, here at Daytona International Speedway in the RPS Marketing 250. Olivia, that was a great way to start off the season, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, is there really any other way to kick off a season than at the high banks of Daytona? It's a little bit chaotic sometimes, but you really get a feel for how the field's going to run, and then you settle into a bit of rhythm. I can't wait to see next time out Kentucky, a very different racetrack, and going to be very interesting to watch that one happen in just a week's time.
Kentucky should put on a pretty good race. Different corners, 1 and 2 is banked differently than 3 and 4. Kind of set up like we're used to seeing with Texas, where 1 and 2 is different than 3 and 4 in that one as well. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what Kentucky has in store for us in 1 week's time. Still plenty of action coming up on JCTV. Thursday night is the Rod and Plate Palmer Golf Series, and they are at Watkins Glen, I believe. Only 3 races left in their season before they crown a champion. Right now, looking like Aaron Smith is going to be the guy. He is miles ahead of everybody else in the points, but still, anything can happen. So that one's going to be quite a fun battle to see how it comes down to all the way to the end. And so I think that's going to do it from us here tonight. So congrats to Alex Kerfan on the race win. And thank you, Olivia, for joining me in the booth as always. And on behalf of everyone at JCTV, the entire outstanding crew there, and Olivia Hayward, I'm Joshua Copernell signing off, saying so long, stay safe, and we will see you next time. Take care.